What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Darkfriend Social. We've got a fun show tonight. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to do some ranking of Wheel of Time characters with a group of people so we can argue, and we're certainly going to have different opinions. So we've got a lot to get to, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring in my three very special guests. And when I say special, emphasis on the word special. So first of all, frequent guest Jenny Lesbian Nerdy. Hello.
Hello.
Master of the Deck, who is the mod for every Discord server on the planet. Welcome, Master of the Deck. And Vance, the Bard of the Red Hand. Welcome. And nice shirt, Vance.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Yeah. If you notice, it's actually it's a staff shirt.
Well, you look very official.
Yeah, thank you.
By the way, is it sad that I'm like jamming out to the bass line of that intro song that I have no idea what it is? Like I found it, like I'm just like, it's got a nice bass line.
Vibes.
Like
I'm definitely every time I'm on your show and you turn it on, I'm like, yeah,
hell
let's go,
yeah,
let's get on the floor.
So we've got a lot to get to. There's I wasn't gonna do anything else other than ranking characters, but for the sake of time here, well, first of all, tell everybody who the hell you are. So, well, shit, we're already moving on. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh,
look at this shit.
Already.
Oh, is it wig time already?
Oh, I see.
I don't even have the. I don't even have these ready. So hold on.
Wow. Totally not expecting it.
Look, Boris.
I don't.
Yep, it's time for the Boris Johnson wig.
It's relevant for a few more months at least.
I mean, it's always going to be relevant.
Right. I mean,
cat. Sorry, just have to yell cat.
Okay. So thank you for the tip, Daryush. So tell the people. Let's start with you, Jenny. Who the hell are you, and what are you doing here?
I am Jenny, also known as Lesbian Nerdy. I have a YouTube channel, Lesbian Nerdy, where I talk about nerdy things from lesbian and mostly Wheel of Time. And that's it. I don't know what
Very eloquent, Jenny. Very eloquently put.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Perfect.
Vance, who the hell are you? And
so folks, Vance, also known as the Bard of the Red Hand on YouTube. I have my own little channel where I talk about the Wheel of Time. I like to do lots of various things on there, character breakdowns and convention and news coverage a little bit. Though I'm not the best at the news coverage because I'll make a video on it 3 weeks after the news has been broken. So if you like slow news, come to me.
If you like to hear about it after the fact, that is the place to go.
Exactly.
Okay, Master of the Deck. Who the hell are you?
I am Master of the Deck. I'm also Kayla, so that's what someone calls me today. It hasn't been some big identity reveal. I am a fanfic writer. That is how I came into the Wheel of Time. And I'm also a moderator for the Dusty Wheel, which the irony there never fails to amuse both me and Pat Hatch.
No.
Or me.
or anyone.
Or anybody. I mean, if you find me on Twitter, I'm Anatar, Lord of Dicks, which means I'm also occasionally the Master of the Dick, not just the Deck.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
That's only on. Never mind. I can't say
Yeah.
that.
And this is my cat, Selchas Ruin.
Yes.
Hi, Cat.
He's just chilling there.
Of
Well,
course.
you all are. Whoop.
Oh,
Jenny
sorry. Just a
disappeared.
second. Can you still hear me?
I
got
can
it.
hear
We can hear
you. But
Okay.
Jenny
you can
died,
tell.
and this is
This
Do
is
not
what it
look
looks
behind
like.
the curtain.
It
Do
is
not
a
look behind the
nice.
curtain.
It is a nice bookshelf, though. So
It is. Yeah. Just give me a minute, though.
I'll put her in timeout until she's back. Just in case. So, well, I want to quick kick things off by talking. I mean, we'll get to talking about the book-oriented things, but I think I want to talk about, to start here, the really important semi-news. I don't even know what to call this. So let's throw this out. So for those that are not aware, Shore, I always say this wrong, Agdashlu, Shore Agdashlu. She is the she was an actress on The Expanse. Jenny is back. Just wanted to make sure, Jenny, that you were not gonna.
Yeah.
So we're talking about this. She tweeted this out. Now, for those that need the backstory here, long ago we all kept talking about her, specifically Jenny, talking about the fact that she would make a great Cadsuane. She replied on Twitter saying, "What is this? People want me to play this Cadsuane character." Rafe Judkins replied to her, like, "Let's make this happen, girl," basically. And they took the chat offline. That was, how long ago was that, Jenny?
About a year ago.
About a year
double
ago.
check. Yeah.
No, really? I thought it
It
was
was
way more recent than that.
I have to double check because I might have.
Like,
a tweet
I
book
think
on
it
it.
was
Couple
after the
months.
show came out.
It was
Yeah, I
after
thought
the-
it was
yeah, it was
around
after-
December,
It was
January.
after the show came out. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
after
it
the
was
show
probably
came out.
about
You're
6
right.
months ago.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm gonna do my
then we had-
advanced Twitter search here.
We had radio silence on that until July 29th when she tweeted this. She surely is an interesting character to portray. Winky face. I don't know how you take that.
There's
Like-
there's nothing else you can say, really.
Like, did she misspeak and she meant to say would be a cool character to portray? But I can't imagine that she did.
But
Right?
even if she was like saying would be, why would she out of nowhere? Like,
Right? Say that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like, so she would be an amazing Cadsuane. Like, at this point, I can't think of somebody better to play her.
Well, okay, the reason I was talking about it originally, I made a video saying that I was worried that she would get cast as Cadsuane.
Mhm.
Not because she'd be bad, but because she's obviously perfect, and I didn't want Cadsuane to have influence.
You
on
didn't
the
want
feelings of-
Cadsuane to be attractive, right?
I didn't want to be
Let's just
attracted
put
to
it out there.
Cadsuane. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, again, that's fair. And I guess here's the point. I think it's pretty clear at this point that they've either had a conversation, they're either very close, or this is a done deal.
Mhm.
Here's the real question I have. When do we see her? Because obviously, again, spoilers, but this whole show is freaking spoilers,
Yeah.
so whatever. She's not going to be in this season, guys. Like, this is
No,
it's
not
not happening
season
yet.
two.
Just to set the
I mean,
the-
filming's done for this season. It's over.
Yeah.
So that's not going to happen. But she could be in season 3. Rafe has said season 3 is basically going to be a very faithful, according to him, adaptation of The Shadow Rising, according to him. Now, Cadsuane does not make any appearances in The Shadow Rising. Okay. There are multiple ways Cadsuane's first appearance is technically in New Spring. So she could show up in a flashback if they did one. Okay, that would be a way to introduce her. Or they could bring Cadsuane's character in early, or they could wait till season 4. So, what are your thoughts? When do we see Cadsuane, and then how do they do it?
My thinking is go ahead. Go ahead, Kayla.
Fine.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry.
Too polite.
Nobody
The
talk.
next-
Nobody talk.
The next 5 minutes, it's just no, you go. No, you.
Yeah.
Go, you fucking Canadian.
Okay. Okay. My thinking is the reason that, like, the timing of her saying this right after Rafe said we're starting the writing for season 3 makes me feel like, why else did this come up now? So I feel like that's she's going to be in season 3. I think they're going to bring her in early. Like, there's lots of Aes Sedai.
It honestly is it's pretty woke. It's pretty
Yes.
woke. So.
Pretty damn woke. Yes. But there's lots of Aes Sedai that like are in a scene and then they just never show up again. She she doesn't have to have been in hiding or retirement. She could just be an Aes Sedai who is, I don't know, doing her Aes Sedai business and people bump into her. Or it could be a flashback or any of these things, yeah.
So my only thought, and I'll add this in and then I want to ask Kayla what you think. My thing with Cadsuane is she needs to feel like a totally different thing when she makes an appearance, right? Like she needs to be an Aes Sedai, but feel drastically different than all of the other power type figures that we see among the Aes Sedai. Like for her to feel like this is a totally different character, because that's what she was. She was basically a I don't give a fuck character. Didn't follow the rules, but then also simultaneously kind of does. Like she's an oddball. She's a very stark contrast to Moiraine. And I guess the question I have is, yes, you could put her in there, but like, do you have her and Moiraine at the same time? Does Moiraine ever go away, by the way? I mean, given that it's Rosamund.
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. So,
all right, Kayla, I've set the stage. Answer.
You've thrown in several questions there.
I have.
You did.
Well, I'll go back to before you asked the questions, was that what we know Cadsuane is up to during like the events of the early books, and as well as into the Shadow Rising, she's hunting Logain and then she's hunting Taim. Those are the things that are happening. So she is actively like on the prowl. Like she's not in retirement. Dragons pop up and she's like, all right, back to work, I guess, fuckers. And so it would be, to me at least, relatively easy to try to work her into a plot line somewhere along those lines, like with men who can channel, with the idea of false dragons, whether it's, you know, an encounter with the Red Aja, or if it is an encounter with Rand specifically somewhere out there, or with any of the other characters. But you bring up the point where Moiraine and Lan, or Moiraine, does she ever actually go away? Addressing the future of her, I don't know, maybe not. But she's certainly still going to be around. I mean, Rafe in his Q&A specifically said that, you know, they have expanded and done more with Moiraine and Lan in season 2, because during that time, like, they're not really doing anything in the events of the Great Hunt. They're hanging out with Adeliz and Vandene. So I don't think Rosamund Pike is not going anywhere. At least not for very long.
Here we go.
What?
We could just have, if they want to introduce Cadsuane, just have her kidnap somebody. She's very good at that.
She's very pro kidnapping.
I found that out in my research when I was writing my video. She loves, favorite pastime. She's got 2 pastimes actually. One is kidnapping people, and the other is spanking them.
I was going to say what? Embroidery? But okay, yes.
I can't tell if Kayla is frozen or if she's just giving me like a mom look.
She looks like she was giving that look and then got frozen there.
Right? Like it's sort of like she's back.
She's back.
There we go.
For a moment there.
Sorry,
like
my Wi-Fi is being really weird. I hope I didn't freeze on like the worst face.
No, you froze on like a chastising, like, are you serious face?
So you know what? I think that's totally valid. I can just
Oh, there she goes again.
And there she goes again. So,
oh, for fuck's sake! All right, give me a second. I'm gonna switch my Wi-Fi again.
What do you
Put me in timeout.
The dust.
Kayla, we gotta get you an Ethernet cable. This is not tenable.
Well, okay. So moving on.
Live streams where this happens, by the way. I'm just saying.
Well, it shows the amount of care that you put into preparing for my live streams, like making sure all of the things are in order.
Definitely, absolutely, 100%.
Well, I for one am very excited. Again, they have nailed the casting. Let's hope that season 2 they absolutely nail the writing.
Yeah.
How about that? Right.
Yes.
I really feel like they have almost, other than Bran Alvear, they have not gone wrong on any of the casting.
The casting has been
fucking
amazing.
skinny innkeepers.
He just had one line.
and he delivered it terribly. Okay, like if you have one line, at least
You better nail
the
it.
line. Like I feel bad. I'm picking on the guy. It's
I
like,
know. I don't
I
want
was
to
like-
shit on this
It was
one.
like
part.
his big break, and I'm shitting on it. But hey,
But,
it is what
yeah.
it is. Okay. All that being said, we are going to get to the main stuff today, and that is ranking the Wheel
Cool.
of
I don't
Time
get to
characters.
give my thoughts on Cadsuane. That's fine. Cool.
I just completely thought you had.
Yeah. You just
Um,
no. You skipped
no.
right over me. It's
All
fine.
right. At
It's
this
fine.
point, what the hell do you have to say about Cadsuane? Jesus.
So if
All right, moving
if
on.
this casting,
Moving
yes,
on. I'm joking. Go ahead.
greatest casting of all time. No, for real. To answer your question about introducing Cadsuane, they could do it via flashback, which I personally would like if they go that route in season 3. And then they could just have her come in and stomp all over Moiraine if Moiraine doesn't get her powers back by season 3.
See, I don't know how I would feel about
So,
that.
I don't either, because that would not be a faithful adaptation of the chapter.
No, and it would not. It would take away, I think, from the fully formed Moiraine that we get later.
Mhm.
Like, I love seeing her tramp all over Nynaeve when Nynaeve thinks she's big shit.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Cadsuane puts her sort of in her place. And Cadsuane's actually right about it, by the way. That's the shockingly bad thing about Cadsuane. Most of the things outside of a few, she's actually right about. And I think that's what makes her even more frustrating.
Yeah.
Is like
She's the kind of person who generates spite in others.
yes,
Yeah.
100%.
She's very effective, but like she's effective in the way that, I can wake you up with like a gentle alarm, or I can wake you up by slapping you in the face with a
Is
fish.
she actually effective though?
Like,
sometimes
like,
she's very much not.
both of those things will wake
We'll
you
get to
up,
the
but one of
rating
them
in a
is
bit
better
here.
than another.
Well, the one defense to Kayla to what you said is, had Min not told Rand
Mhm.
that Cadsuane, that he needed Cadsuane, he would have like killed her.
Yeah,
like it would have been just like, you bow or die.
Mhm.
Like that would have been the reaction, not, hey, you need him.
Yeah.
Like you need her, right? Like that was the whole thing. And she didn't know that.
No.
So it's not like she went in there like knowing that. Now, I would also say she's quite a bit more dangerous than people realize.
Yes.
Like her paralysis net, if you go through it, makes
Got
her
James
like,
Bond fucking gadgets.
I mean,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
a badass. She basically has a Matt Terangrial that
Mhm.
diffuses weaves at her. She has a shield that you can't hit her with a sword. She can detect men channeling. She has an Angreal that makes her as strong as Rand.
Yep.
Like all
She's
of these
fucking
things.
Batman.
I mean, she has
Yes.
she has the equivalent of like a super powered suit in sci-fi, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, she's
Is
just
she Tony
unstoppable.
Stark?
Like I made this comment in the
Is
video.
that who she is?
She
She's
could have,
Tony Stark if he were also Doctor Strange.
she
Yeah.
probably could have taken Rand.
She had more
Like,
skills. More
She's definitely
training,
got more
so-
skill and experience in fighting. That's
Yeah.
It's nuts. Anyways,
Yeah.
okay. Vance, did I let you talk enough? Are we allowed to move on now?
I don't know. I think I want to Bogart this for the 35 minutes. No, well, let's get to the tier list. Let's.
Oh, oops.
Whoopsie daisy.
There will
Right.
be none of that on
Vance
this
is gonna
show.
get bail fired.
There will be none of that on this show. Okay, this is a serious operation here. So
Serious.
here's how this is going to work, folks. We are going to be working on the tier maker. So I want to involve all of you. We are going to go through these characters. I have this up on my screen twice, so I'm going to have to like make sure I'm not clicking one screen. But we are going to debate these things. We're going to talk about where the characters go, just so you're aware of how these things work. The S tier is like the very top. Those are the best characters, followed by A, B, C. There's normally a D, but I can't do a D in the polling. So we're just going to make C the bottom one. What I want to do
Gotcha.
is
Bottoms
also...
go to the sea.
Yes, bottoms are the C.
Of course, Kayla.
Of course.
Of course.
So
I love it.
how many C's are in the live chat now? Okay. Just mark yourself a C. You know somebody's going
Tag
to do
yourself.
it. Somebody's gonna
Tag
type
yourself.
C.
Yeah.
But no, I also want to make sure that we're understanding too. These are not like who would win in a fight. These are the definitions here are going to be who are the best characters, right? Like in terms of their arc, that could be like the best developed, the best written, all of those things. So that's kind of the way I want to approach this. And I think the way for us to start this off is with Cadsuane. So I have a poll up in the chat, I believe, if I did it right. I want all of you to vote on where you think Cadsuane lands while we debate it. So, let's start with you, Master of the Deck. Where does Cadsuane belong on this list? Is she an S tier? Is she an A? Is she a B? Or is she a bottom?
Cadsuane is not a bottom, first of all.
Not a bottom.
I think I would put Cadsuane as an A tier character. I don't think that her arc is compelling enough or interesting. I don't think that she has any dynamics to her, you know, and which is why she doesn't quite fit an S tier character. But what she does is interesting. She's an interesting character. You know, like we just said, she's kind of got like, you know, the James Bond gadgets. She's a little bit Batman, a little bit Doctor Strange, you know, mixing all of these fandoms together. So, and her role in the story is important. You know, she has impact on other characters, on the events of the books, you know, through to the end. And she's also a character that lives through the end. And so we have this ability to speculate about where things might have gone with her. I just don't think that, she as a character is interesting enough because I mean, once you've read her first couple of chapters, I mean, you kind of just like know who she is. There's not a lot about her that's unpredictable. So yeah, she doesn't fit S tier in terms of interest for me. So A.
All right, Jenny, what about you?
Yeah, all the reasons that Kayla just said. I would agree that she's she as far as her arc, I don't feel like she has much of one because she comes into the story as pretty much she's fully formed. Like she knows exactly who she is, she knows what she wants. She has her goals. They don't really change. But she is intriguing. I do not like Cadsuane, but as a character, she is compelling.
Vance, anything to add?
Nope, I pretty much agree with everybody. She's not an S tier. She doesn't have an arc like everyone says. But she's a mentor character, which I have a soft spot for. And I actually like Cadsuane. I think she is right most of the time, though I disagree with many of her methods. I think she's a person who sees every problem as a nail and has no finesse to her problem solving. So.
Well, the two tools she has at her disposal are kidnapping and spanking.
Exactly.
So
spanking lends itself really well to hammering and nails eventually.
I think based on the poll results, it looks like the fans have voted. She is an A tier character. I think we all agree that she's an A tier character, so we will leave it at that. So let me go ahead. I already know what Kayla's answer to this one is going to be.
I'm which one?
Oh man.
Okay, we will go ahead and let's do Rand. Okay,
I'm not going first.
So Vance, we'll start with you.
Yes.
Where is Rand an S tier? Why is
he's an S tier character? Well, first of all, he's probably the single most developed character we get throughout the series. We spend a lot of time in his head. He has a fully developed story arc from the beginning of the book to the very end, up until he goes off in the last chapter. He has his ups and he definitely has his downs. He has his low downs. And, you know, I don't like everything Rand does. I don't like all of his chapters, but in general, I like Rand. He's one of my favorites, which I don't talk about enough, but he is one of my favorite characters in the series. And for me, he will forever be an S tier character. There are very few characters in fantasy at large that are even powerful enough to touch him. So.
Jenny, Kayla, anything to disagree with where Vance has? Is Rand S tier?
I will go because I know Kayla's answer.
Everyone does.
Yeah. Rand is if you ask me to like name characters from Wheel of Time, I don't know that Rand would be in my top 10. Like he literally doesn't come to mind. I am one of those people who finds him kind of bland. I do like him. I don't dislike Rand. and he definitely has an arc, but I do not. His story doesn't resonate with me. But because of how important he is in the story, I feel weird saying B. So I would go A. Like, he's the dragon. It feels really weird to be like,
Oh, man.
he's like average.
So what I heard is that Jenny thinks Rand is a bottom.
Yeah, I'm not
I think
wrong
he is
about
probably
that.
a bottom. Yeah.
No, he's not. He does not give off bottom vibes. Kayla.
Rand is a
Kayla.
service top. That's what he is.
Mm.
So obviously Rand is he's my son and I love him. And if you think he is a B tier character, never speak to me and my son again. No, I think Rand fits S tier because he carries a lot of the thematic weight of this story that Robert Jordan wrote. You know, like in the interviews that you get at the end of the Audible books and end of the audio books, I should say, with Robert Jordan, who conceived of this idea of, what if you tapped someone on the shoulder and said, "Hey, you are the Messiah and you have to save the world." And instead of them, being just like, "All right, cool, let's fucking go," they're like, "Let me get you a beer, and I'm just gonna go. No, fuck that."
Right.
And what we get with that is this, this intense experience over the course of 14 books of someone who continues to be broken in varied and horrifying ways, and yet still has to accomplish a task. And so thematically, Rand is the person who carries a lot of the trauma plot lines, as well as many other characters, Egwene especially. So trauma, the experience of war, the idea that failure is something that also generates, plot movement, and that ultimately, your hero, your Messiah, is not actually a savior. They're just another person who had a task to accomplish and probably did more harm than good along the way, but you couldn't have done it without them. I love Rand specifically for a variety of other reasons, but I think he's S tier because of how well Robert Jordan used him to accomplish his thematic goals in the story, in terms of the writing and what we actually get from the Wheel of Time, in terms of how those things affect the other characters that we also love.
So I've said this before too. Rand is not my favorite character, but he is, in my opinion, he has the best arc of any fantasy character that I've read ever. I think that his arc is spectacular. It's well done. I think it's compelling, and it, as Kayla put, it demonstrates he's such a flawed main character, and I think that's what makes him positive. Like, he's not a Mary Sue. Like, he's not
not even a little bit.
Yeah, like
what would really happen if you did this to somebody?
Right, like he screws up constantly, right? And it's like turn after turn after turn. Like almost everything he does is a mistake.
I win again,
his intentions are good, right? Like, but yet somehow he manages, and it's like you have his upbringing and all of that. Like, I just love everything about him. Now, so we'll be in the poll, but it looks like they overwhelmingly agree with us. Last thing I will say though, if you guys are not familiar, there are a lot of characters in the Wheel of Time. We spend 20 minutes per character. We are never going to get anywhere.
Well, we spent enough time on Rand. It's fine.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to keep our responses very quick from here on out.
Yes.
Very, very quick. I'm going to go ahead and pick another one. Sorry, I have to make the poll. All right, we're doing Elayne Trakand. A little tougher one, I think, to rank here.
Yeah.
We'll start with you, Jenny, this time. Where do you put Elayne?
I'm going to say B. I like Elayne. I really do like her. But I don't like, I feel like I don't want to put her in the bottom because I don't despise her. I think she's an interesting character. I actually find her becoming a queen plot interesting, but she also feels kind of static. Like there's growth in her, but I don't know, her growth is a lot of learning things. It's not internal. She doesn't have a lot of internal growth that I see. So that's why she's not higher than that? What's
I'm
the
an idiot. I'm an idiot.
Hmm?
The poll is SACD.
Oh dear.
Guys, C is B, D is C. Just
Yeah.
roll with it.
Yeah.
Roll
Oh
with it.
man.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you. Anybody else thoughts on Elayne? Where does she go for you? Where does she land?
I'd say she's
I would
A
put-
for me personally.
I would
Hmm.
agree with that. I was on the Barside Chats episode about Elayne, and what I discovered is that she is Odysseus. That is who
Mhm.
Elayne is. You know, she goes off on this adventure, abandoning her responsibilities. She's gone for quite some time, and then she comes back home and deals with all the chickens that have come to roost.
Yep, has to reclaim the throne.
Right. In the various conversations I've had with people, I've come to not be as irritated by her. There are still things that certainly do irritate me, but I think her plot arc is more interesting than Jenny does, evidently.
Yeah.
I would probably sit somewhere in the middle of both of those. I agree that I think she's actually a very consistent character.
Yes.
And I think her actions are consistent with her upbringing and who she is.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
Like I think those things are great about her. In terms of her arc, I do think she grows up a little bit, but not really. She's reckless. She doesn't think
Yeah.
things through.
Mhm.
She's a horrible
Mhm.
choice to lead the last battle.
Yeah.
Horrible choice for that. But okay.
Yeah.
She's
Weird
got,
call on that one.
Yep, bad call there. I would have actually put Cadsuane in charge of that, believe it or not. But
I don't disagree.
I can see that actually.
I think she would have got shit done.
Mhm.
But I would probably agree that Elayne is a borderline A to B character. Like she sits.
If we had
somewhere-
A minus, that's probably where she'd sit.
so
Yeah.
You put her in
the
a
poll,
B, you want?
she gets a B. From the crowd breaks the tie. She's going to be a B.
All right.
All right.
Okay. So I'll try to
Okay.
make this poll correct this time. So all right, we're gonna do Lan Mandragoran. Where does he land for you?
Oh,
Can I go
Is
first?
Lan-
oh,
Is Lan a bottom?
go ahead, Kayla.
Okay.
It pains me to say this. Lan is a solidly B tier character.
Mm.
He's solidly B tier. For as like badass as he is, that's all that he is. That's it.
Mhm.
Like
B for badass.
he's got like two motivations, and it's Malkier and Nynaeve. And like if the essence of your character is that you've got a few really good one-liners, like I don't know. And I think he was not a very good mentor for Rand.
Oh
Like,
no, not at all.
Dude put in his head such toxic masculinity really early on when he's going
Yeah.
through several really intense identity crises and looking for a father figure. And he says,
Yeah.
death is lighter than a feather. Come on, man.
I mean, to be fair, Lane had all that crap put on him when since he was a baby.
True.
No,
so
exactly. It's the cycle of abuse.
He's a
That's
he's a
what's happening
product
here.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, like
At least
that
he
was
gets out
my
of it by the end.
yeah.
But-
My gut
I
reaction.
enjoy the hell out of him, and this is no shade on Daniel Henney because his butt is glorious. But Lan is B tier.
Yeah, that's
Deeply
like when you
disagree.
said Land, that was my gut reaction. Like that pained look was, oh, I love Land so much, but he's definitely not an S. Like I can't put him in S at all. I love him.
Where does anybody disagree with a B?
No.
No.
All right, what does the crowd say? This is a very close. Okay, I'm going to give you guys one more minute to vote because this is very close. I will share my opinion. I actually agree with both of you or all of you. I think Lan is a cool character. Like he's a badass character in a sense. Like I enjoy reading his scenes.
Yeah.
But there's
He
no
is for butt tier.
there is no real depth to him.
He's an 80s action hero. Like really, that's been plopped into Fantasy Swordsman.
Like he does have a couple nice roles. Now I will also say that I think he has more depth to him than people realize. Like it is a thing to be that stoic character, but like he writes poetry and
there's way more to him to that, definitely.
He's broken sometimes. So I would probably sit with the A to B tier, like somewhere in that range.
I enjoy him absolutely. I just his role in the story doesn't compare to
ending
Elayne
the voting.
or Rand.
He came in with an A tier from the group.
Okay.
So I think we will put him
top of.
Do you think is he a better character than Elayne?
Yes. I think he's better than Elayne for me.
He goes in the A tier.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure I agree with that, but
I enjoy reading his stuff more than reading Elayne's.
all right, we're gonna have one that I know my opinion on will piss people off, and I know there will be some people that agree with me.
Mm.
Matt
It's
Coffin.
Egwene, isn't it? Oh, it's Matt.
Matt Coffin.
Matt,
Hmm.
where does Matt fit on this list?
I think Matt's an S, but I think I think Matt is on by the end of the books. He's on his way to an S. Is where I think.
So you think he's a high level A tier, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I was going to put him.
Yeah.
Master of the Deck, I feel like you're on the same page with me. Let's hear it.
Yeah, Matt. I think I would. I don't know. I don't know what page you're on, Nae'Blis. Maybe I don't watch your content, so it's a surprise. I find Matt to be a character who's enjoyable to read, not necessarily a character that always like has the best like writing going with him, especially once Sanderson got a hold of him. Like our final 3 books, just like it was a fucking Titanic, man. It was just downhill. And I literally just said to someone today, I dread reading the last 3 books because of Sanderson's Matt. And so, keeping that into account, like Matt's kind of in between B and A for me. And this is me. I really enjoy him, but if I'm being generous with him, I give him an A. If I'm being honest with myself, I'd probably make Matt a B tier character.
Here's the struggle for me. I feel like Matt is the most unrealistic character that Robert Jordan wrote. Here's my issues with Matt. Matt truly is the definition of a Mary Sue, by the way. Matt makes very few actual mistakes. Almost everything works out for him, no matter what he does.
Because he's lucky.
Well, right. He's got the Mary Sue written in, but he dates Tuon, who I can't stand that.
God, that's so fucked up.
That whole thing. I agree with Kayla on the writing thing, but I would also say the reason that Matt was hard for Brandon to write is because Matt is a character that doesn't make any damn sense. Okay,
I think he has sex.
Matt is simultaneously an idiot, but also like brilliant and wise, but also an idiot. And like that whole everything that I don't like about Matt's character is summarized in that stupid ass Boots monologue.
Oh, that I hate that monologue.
I don't think anyone likes that.
Yeah, that last 3 books.
No one likes that.
I fix it in my head. Like I adjust it in my brain.
La la la.
Yeah.
Now that being said, Matt is one of those characters too that has a couple moments that are amazingly fun to read. But honestly, I would challenge people. He's not actually that fun to read. Like there's huge segments of his storyline that are borderline incredibly boring. Let's take the first 2 books, Matt. Let's take Matt when he's in Ebu Dar is horribly boring. Anything to do with Tuon is boring, in my opinion, because I just don't like anything about that. So I think Sanderson did okay with him in the last battle, at least trying to make that somewhat believable. I think Dragon Reborn Matt is really damn fun to read. Okay. I can't stand I don't love Shadow Rising Matt because I think he's a whiny bitch the whole time.
He's so mean to Rand in that book.
Yeah, like it's just that's where I don't know where to put him. And so I struggle here because I do think he's a better character than the characters we've already placed on the list, but he's not an S tier character for me. I think he's probably an A tier character. And if we hadn't put Cadsuane and Lan as A tier, I might have put him B. But I can't say that he's a worse character than them.
Matt is a character where it's really fun to write fanfic for him. And I would put him in the same category as a character like Harry Potter in that way, where there's a lot of blank slate to be had and a lot of room to play around because canon was not consistent. So
I always have said this. Of all of the characters in the books, I don't see Matt's arc as finished. Like I think it's because in my brain I know that there were supposed to be those other books, what do you call them?
Outrigger books. He called them the Outrigger novels.
Yeah. So I never think of Matt's arc as finished. He's on his way to reaching who he's gonna be, which is why some of the stuff that I know that bothers a lot of people, obviously his whole relationship with Tuon and being okay with her being a slaver. In my mind, that is Robert Jordan was building towards something with that. That just never happened. So
well, I am going to leave him because it's my channel. I'm going to leave him at the A tier, even though the fans voted for S.
I mean, he
Screw
should
you
really
guys.
be in the C tier because Matt is definitely a bottom.
Totally a bottom. Okay, here we go. Definitely a. Well, I don't even know how you label this. He's not a bottom, but he's he's a bottom by default because I don't think he could top. But here we go. Loial.
Oh. Oh, I was not
God.
expecting that.
Seriously, you made things happen in my brain.
Look,
I'm not happy with.
Look,
I don't like what you just put to my brain.
The biggest dick in the Wheel of Time, and he can't top.
There are physical limitations.
I don't want this in my brain.
Oh, if you didn't want this in your brain, you should have stayed offline.
I was going to
this
say,
is all over the internet.
But
this is what it's all about.
You wouldn't want that anywhere else.
I know. Absolutely. Okay. Oh, good Lord.
So Loial, as a character, where do we put Loial? Not show Loial,
B.
book Loial.
B.
He's a B character for you.
He's a B character for me.
Anybody disagree with that?
No, I don't. I love him. I love him.
Yeah.
But
he's static.
Yeah, I mean, I love Loial. Like, don't get me wrong, but he's a B tier character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, his story arc is very mild. It's incomplete, I would say. And he's okay to read, but sometimes he's got just these little passages.
Yeah.
They're not full chapters for the most part.
Well, we're all in agreement here. The crowd is in agreement. I want to keep moving. We're gonna keep him at B.
Yeah.
We talked too long about Matt.
We did.
Yeah, Matt was controversial.
Well, that one, I mean, I figured we'd talk a little longer about them. All right, let's do this one. Let's get Perrin out of the way. Because Perrin's another one that I think is difficult to rank. So where does Perrin sit?
S tier.
Perrin's S tier, okay?
For Vance, anyway.
Okay. Justify your opinion, sir.
Oh, really? We're really going to go. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I just like Perrin. He's my favorite of the three Ta'Veren boys. I like his story arc a whole lot. Yes, he has a pretty boring plot line, like partway through the series. It's not the most fun to read, but all of our three boys sag at various points. Their storylines are not always engaging. There are parts of Rand's story that I'm like, man, I really wish I was just somewhere else or chaos for like 90% of the book. So
okay.
Matt's the same way when he's trying kidnapped Tuon and trying to escape Altara. Boring.
See, I would put Perrin much lower. I would put Perrin again because he's one of the Ta'Veren. I feel weird saying B because his plotline is so important, but there's a chunk of his story that is infamous in the fandom, because it's so boring, and that he backslides. He becomes he's awesome by book 4, and then he suddenly just turns into I don't even know what he becomes.
I think Robert Jordan struggled to write. I think he struggled to know where to take him as a character because I felt like he rehashed the same internal struggle 3 times in 3 separate occasions. Like, is it the hammer or the axe? Like he deals with that, and then he deals with it again, and then he deals with it again, and then how many more training montages do we need in the World of Dreams with him?
Yeah.
Right? That's my struggle with him. Is I do agree with you. I think his plot lines went backwards.
Yeah.
But I still love Perrin. I actually think.
Sorry, you literally made a song about him. I know I did, but the point of the song was justifying the boring plot line.
So, Kayla, where do you put him?
Nah, he's between a B and an A tier character for me.
I agree.
Perrin works for a character study. He's an interesting character to talk about if you're thinking about a couple of particular themes. But overall, like I said, he's very static for much of the story, and the resolutions are somewhat satisfying. But ultimately, I don't care about Perrin at all. Not at all. Not even a little bit.
Here's
Hey,
where
y'all
I,
crazy.
I
Y'all
put
I think
him.
the problem is Robert Jordan got him like to his peak way too early in the story.
No,
Here's
that
where
agree with.
I place him slightly ahead of Matt, and here's why. I put him there because, as Jenny pointed out, Matt's plot lines don't seem tied up. Like, he's not complete. I feel like Perrin's arcs, albeit not perfect, are somewhat complete, right?
Mm.
So, and by the way, Perrin's an absolute badass at the end of the story, like in
Oh,
terms of
Mhm.
completely.
like he's dangerous.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
Slayer, but good.
The
Yeah.
best part of Perrin is Gaul. That's what I'll say.
So,
Mhm.
which one's
Better
the
call
top?
Gaul.
Better Call Gaul. Okay, so
Call
he's
Gaul?
an A tier. Let's go ahead and get one of the well, I can't say that yet. I don't give away the
The bias.
Hmm.
All right, let's do Nynaeve. Not that everybody doesn't already know where I think about her.
Gee, I wonder what I think.
Me too. I don't know what I
Yeah.
think.
Uh,
So where do we put Nynaeve? Somebody that isn't an obvious answer here.
yeah, I was just gonna say my answer is very clear. So somebody else.
She's
know.
S minus.
No.
Fuck you. Sorry.
Yeah. S minus. She's still an S.
No, she's
Kayla?
S tier.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't
Definitely
think there's
S
any
tier.
doubt. The question for me is she ahead of Rand? And I've already kind of tipped my hand. Nynaeve is my favorite character by far.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That being said, I still think it's hard to compete with Rand in the scheme of things is a arc. Like, I think Rand is the best written fantasy character of all time. That's my opinion. That's, again, I know a lot of people don't agree with that. I do.
Mm.
So I can't put Nynaeve ahead of him for that reason, but she's pretty darn close to me. So anybody disagree with putting her there? Should she
I
be
would
ahead of
put her.
Rand?
See, I would say yes. However, then I start to think about the way the books, because she sort of disappears in the last, like, they didn't really know what to do with her once she. In my mind, I fill her story in, but once she broke her block, they sort of were like, yeah, she's fine now. Like,
She ascended. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like there's which I find upsetting because
Yeah.
Well,
but I fill it in.
She
I make her
teeters
better.
on that edge constantly of like being Aes Sedai and then not being Aes Sedai, right? Like, because
Yeah.
Ray keeps her close because he can trust her, but then he's like, but can I trust her because
See,
she's
you guys
trans.
say that. One of my favorite scenes with Nynaeve is where she basically tells Gawyn and the people at her raising,
Yeah.
look, fuck y'all. I don't care if I become an Aes Sedai or not.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I
Yes.
love about her. That's the
She had
scene
been
where,
waiting to do that since book
For-
one.
to me,
Yeah.
that's where she became a fully formed character. Is when she
I-
basically said,
yeah.
I care about people. I don't give a shit about your Aes Sedai stuff.
Yeah.
You're either going to pick me or not.
I 100% agree that that's an amazing
Mhm.
scene, but like if you just even look at her page count, it kind of disappears.
That's true.
Like after she breaks her block, and then her page count is just sort of
Well, that's fair.
her POVs. I mean, like
we're gonna
you're not
move
in her head anymore.
We're going to move
Anyway.
on because it's my channel and I'm not moving her. So I'm joking.
Executive powers.
I mean, I put her above, but that's just me.
Let's do Egwene. Okay, so because Egwene to me is a character that a lot of people have mixed opinions on.
Mhm.
My opinion on her has evolved over time. So I'm interested to hear where you all place Egwene on the list.
As a character, I definitely put her in S. As a character, as
Yep.
a person, like I have mixed feelings about her as a person, and they are just entirely mixed. I say this, she hurt my feelings. Like she literally, the character of Egwene hurt my feelings, which is why I have mixed feelings about her as a human being, but not as a character.
I need to know how she hurt your feelings now.
She didn't apologize to any of her old friends for any of the stuff. Like when she did that stuff and I even delete the one scene where she did the really, really bad thing, but by humiliating Nynaeve and stuff, she is a huge part of why Nynaeve went into a massive depression in book 5 is because of what Egwene did. And Egwene, she lied to Nynaeve, she lied to Elayne, and she lied to the wise ones. She apologized to the wise ones.
But not everybody else.
Yeah, and her lie to them literally had no impact really on them. Her lie to her other friends massively impacted them, but she didn't care.
That's a great point. I think that's
that hurt my feelings.
Mhm.
Anybody else disagree? I put her behind Nynaeve and Rand, but definitely yes here. I
Yeah.
think that's
I
hard
agree
to
with that.
debate.
No, I agree with it.
And it looks like the live chat agrees with that assessment. Okay. So we
I
are
mean,
going
love or hate her,
to-
she's just that kind of character, right?
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Oh, she's an amazing character. I still root for
Mhm.
her. But I literally feel like she's like my friend in high school who kind of hurt me. I still want her to do well, though. That's what I feel like about her.
All right. Lanfear.
Where's Matt
Hatch is not in the chat, right?
I think I used this pick too.
Yeah.
B.
I could see the
B.
face.
I was gonna
Where
say
is
B.
Lanfear?
C. Fuck it. C. C tier character.
See, I think she's
She's
C
just his
tier.
crazy ex-girlfriend.
Yeah,
That's
she's
what she is.
super crazy. You got it.
So the problem I have with Lanfear, I actually think she's a better character than that. I think she has more substance. We get more time with her than some of the Aes Sedai, and yes, she is, and some of the other Forsaken. I'm sorry, and yes, she is the crazy ex-girlfriend, but like she plays a pretty large role in the story.
Oh yeah.
And her, like, without her, the light doesn't win, and I know that's shocking. Like, she's probably the most important character to helping the light win the last battle, among multiple. She single-handedly saves Rand's life after Ishamael stabs him.
Mm.
I don't know if anybody caught that.
Yeah,
She's the one
true.
that heals him and blocks it off
Yeah.
so that it doesn't kill him when Ishamael stabbed him.
Yeah.
Nobody typically catches that. Because Moraine's like, he was already healed, but I don't know who did it.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Min saw Lanfear come over and do it.
Yeah.
So, but I say all that, it's a struggle for me because I think that she becomes too one-dimensional with the whole crazy, like, you're my boyfriend, like that kind of. I wish there was more to her than that because she could have been a really cool character to me.
Lanfear is a Deus Ex Machina. That's all she is.
Mhm.
She comes in and does some interest. All she is, maybe that's a little bit uncharitable, but I think you have to try too hard to like her. You know, like, bless you, Matt Hatch, but
Yeah.
it takes me too long to think about to find things that are interesting about her. The one thing that I love about Lanfear is Kylie. I love Kylie. Because when it's revealed that it's her, she's like, "What? You didn't think I could wear a little fat? Like, girl, I was still hot. Like, damn right you were."
I put her at a slow B tier. I don't think she's quite in a C tier because some of the characters that I would put at a C tier, I wouldn't put her next to.
Right.
So
That's
and it
fair.
looks like the crowd has her at a B. So
Okay.
I think that's a fair place to put her. So let's do another one that'll get people.
Matt
moving
Hatch just
here.
unsubscribed to this channel.
He was subscribed to the channel.
Really interesting.
Okay, Gawyn.
See.
Ooh.
See.
Mm.
I
There
feel like I
cannot
can't.
stand Gawyn.
I was on the Gawyn panel. I feel like I can't give an
Yeah.
unbiased opinion about this.
I
let's hear it.
didn't
Where'd
even
you
see
put
that
him?
panel, so I don't know. But I cannot handle him as a character, not just because I don't like him, because there's characters I don't like. I don't like Cadsuane, and Cadsuane's higher. What drives me insane with Gawyn is that he doesn't he's so inconsistent that I feel like I'm trying to ride a bull. Like, it's just like pick up freaking side. I can't figure you out as a human. And it's not in a way that feels real. Like, it drives me insane.
Yeah, 100% agree. That's my problem with him.
Yeah. I mean, he's just he's like a medieval knight put in all of this area, and he just doesn't fit with the rest of it. It's just
I don't think Gawyn is
no
inconsistent.
direction.
I think that he's perfectly consistent if you understand like what kind of character he is. He is a traumatized little boy who needs someone to tell him what to do. And he's trying desperately to be like the older brother that he idolized, which means he makes bad choices and then he sticks to them until he really figures out like, this probably wasn't a bad idea. And then he does something else. So it appears that he's inconsistent, but he is acting in line with his own paradigm of how he sees the world. But with that said, he's ultimately not a particularly interesting character. He's just like, he's sad and tragic, and that's all that he's got going for him. He's C.
Yeah, I do have to tell you.
Thank you, Darush.
Yes, I've told you guys this. I've been sort of obsessed with this wing of YouTube recently called BreadTube, and I learned this term called aggrieved. Was it aggrieved entitlement? From watching all these videos, and I heard this, I was like, "Oh my god, that's Gawyn! He has aggrieved entitlement."
Yes. That's a perfect description.
So the problem I have, I agree with that. The problem I have with him is primarily that I think his choice to stay and defend Elaida is a completely illogical, stupid choice given what he already knows. I don't find that to be believable, and I think that's my problem with it.
He should have gone straight home to Andor.
You did not watch my Gawyn panel, did you, Nae'Blis? I addressed
No,
this.
I was busy running the con.
Yes, you were.
But yes, I know you addressed it. It doesn't matter. You were probably wrong. So,
all right, move on.
Moving on, we are going to get to. Let's do a fun character that could have been amazing. Was not.
Is it Logan?
Your setups are so intriguing.
Padan Fain.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Padan Fain could have been S.
God, so much
He
potential.
could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been, but not.
Could have been.
No.
No, he's I don't even know if he's an A tier.
Yeah,
I think he's B tier.
I think he's B.
I think
But
he's
he had
B.
so much potential.
God,
but he's
the
a high
Shadow
B.
Rising, right?
Yeah.
We
Yes.
got from him in the Shadow Rising and like all those little tidbits here and there. God, I thought so much more was
Even
gonna
like
happen.
Lord of Chaos, there's some good stuff in Lord of Chaos
Yep.
with him, and then he just sort of.
See, I don't know if I could get with putting him as a B tier because I feel like
He's
for
better than Lanfear.
Yeah, he's definitely better.
Yeah,
than
I think he's.
Lanfear.
Yeah,
I think he's better than Loial.
Loial,
and I
yeah.
think he's better
I think
than
he's
Elayne.
better than.
I think he's a better character than Elayne.
That's our question. Do we if we like him more than Elayne, then I suppose he can stay there on the B tier. Do we like him more than Lan?
Honestly, my only problem with Fain is this ending. Because I think that he was set up as this third evil. Like in just the anticlimactic ending, I really wanted him to be a part of sealing the Dark One away.
Same.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that would have been so cool. Like and have it be like a partner and like really all three of them have to like even like Matt and Perrin are involved in defeating Padan Fain. Like it's all of them together, right?
Yeah.
That it's just so anticlimactic, like he was an afterthought that I just have to do something with.
Yeah.
Right.
Sort of what happened with him. And even what he was doing was cool. He was turning like zombies and like raising the dead and like it could have been so cool. And then Matt shows up and goes,
Yeah.
Yeah. The dagger and Mashadar are absolutely terrifying.
Yes.
You know? And we hold that terror. That's our earliest like fear in the books. It's not like the Dark One or the Trollocs Forsaken. It's like the creepy white mist and the dagger for the first like 3 books that's that were in there.
Creepiest stuff, yeah.
So
Yeah,
especially as far as like a Matt nemesis. It's just I don't know.
Because of how disappointing he is, like I don't want to put him in A.
Yeah, I'm agree. I think he's a B. I think we've got him at the right place.
He's like at the top of the B's.
So yeah, I see. I think we've got him in the right place here. You.
I'll be right back. I need more beer.
Yeah, you do. Okay, we're gonna do Elaida. Where does Elaida go?
I would put Elaida, A
tier, yeah.
I think she's an A tier character.
Yeah.
I find it so weird every time Matt hatches like she's not important. Like she's so important to so many. Like she's huge in a Gawyn storyline.
Yeah,
she's even important in. Yeah, she's even important in. She's important in Swan's storyline. She's important in Rand's storyline. Yeah. Yep.
She's critical to the books.
Does critical to the books make her a great character?
No, I find her
I find her fascinating actually, and like her descent into
madness,
kind of madness, because like Elaida's not evil, is the thing. She's not like evil. She is the expression of the human evil of power and corruption, and the desire to grab it and be in control because she thinks she can save everybody.
Yeah, like
That's-
she's like the
that's
good
the evil
intentions
spirit.
path to
Yeah,
hell.
the
kind of
good
thing.
intentions pave the way to hell. Exactly. So like that's why she's a good character, and then she gets manipulated by the people she surrounds herself with eventually. So
Well,
Yeah.
I think there's a good argument that Fain actually is part of her
Yeah.
downfall.
Oh, huge. It's like almost explicit in Lord of Chaos. He
yeah,
says he,
it's pretty
Mhm.
obvious that he's influenced her.
Yeah.
Even though most people miss that, I think
Mm.
that happened. He also influenced Pedron Niall too.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
which I think is cool. That's again why I like
Yeah.
Fain's character. I
Yeah.
struggle putting her on the A tier, honestly, because I think that while she is important, she is fairly one-dimensional in terms of what she is. And I don't think she has much of she has a downward spiral arc.
Mhm.
But the problem that I have with her arc is she comes across too competent at the beginning to have the descent into madness that she has, in my opinion. Like, to me, it almost feels like a Daenerys in Game of Thrones. Like, where the fuck did that come from? Right?
But
like,
it came from Fain. It came from Fain.
But I don't think you can explicitly put it on Fain. I think she's probably in the same category to me as Fain. Like right around that high B tier is probably where I would put her.
Okay.
Yeah, Fain is an explanation for a behavior, but it's not an excuse for like how it affects the story.
Could you make the argument maybe Missana had some impact on her as well? Maybe a little like compulsion.
Well, Missana did indirectly because she was like a Alviaran screwed with her entire reign. I mean,
oh yeah. I know. I enjoy, like, she is the inverse to me to Gawyn, where Gawyn, I do not enjoy reading his stupidity, whereas her stupidity, I get, like, oh, it's so fascinating to me. Like
yeah, I'm right there with you, Jenny. I feel the same way about it.
All right, Galad.
Ooh, Galad. Okay, because he's a smaller character, I can't put him in S, but I actually like what he is. I want to put him in S. I really like him. I love his arc.
He's more interesting to me than Matt is. Like what he does, Galad is an A tier character for me. I don't think he fits S. But
no,
like
he's too
in
small
terms of what he does, look at you, Nae'Blis. You're struggling here. No, I don't know. I find him fascinating.
He has a story arc, which I enjoy. And it's a story arc that's actually fun to read. Yeah. And he is probably the most unique of the non-powered characters.
I love him. Like, he's one of those characters that sneaks up on you because you're just like, oh, it's Galad. Nothing. He's nothing. He's nothing. He's nothing.
Right.
And then suddenly he's like, oh wait. Like,
yeah, you read that. It's the prologue of Knife of Dreams, right? Yeah.
It's better than the duel with Demon Dread. All three of them.
Absolutely.
I agree with all of you, and I love Galad as a character. My only real beef with Galad is that I don't believe. Here's what I would have loved to have seen out of Galad. I wanted to get an in his head POV where he's not as secure as he portrays himself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would have been great.
Like, I do feel that in my brain now.
Because in his head, like, nobody is that. Like, no, like that's not the way human beings work. Like you would have a motivation, whether it be external or whatever, to portray yourself that way and make those decisions. But for him to be somebody that will always do what's right, no matter, like, that's not a believable, like, that's not a real character. In
my mind, like, I do fill it in my head of him trying to figure out what's right. Like,
to a degree, I agree with that. I put him. I think it's hard for me to put him ahead of Perrin and Matt, even though I agree with you that he probably has a pretty good arc. I don't think he has a better arc than Perrin, and I don't think it's. So I'm going to put him. I think he's safe right there.
Yeah.
Now, ironically, the crowd completely disagrees with us. They put him in the B tier.
They don't like him.
Yeah,
oh my god!
A lot of people don't like him. They see him as one-dimensional.
That's odd.
Well, that's because
he's a sneaky character.
We get so much of our information about Galad from his sister, who doesn't like him.
Actually, that's another reason I would put Elayne lower.
DK Moon just brought that up. DK Moon just brought that up in chat. Yes.
This is the reason.
Specifically, I have an older half brother who is exactly as older than me as Galad is to Elayne. I understand this very well. He was my babysitter when I was a child. And do you know how often he pissed me off and how often I pissed him off? Like, you know, he didn't save me from drowning or anything, but like, you know, that's a relationship that doesn't become something more than resentment until like that person is long out of the house that you both share, living their own life. And then you are finally old enough to realize, oh, wow, like my brother's actually not a horrible dick. He was 17.
Yeah. And
Right.
him telling my mom when I did something wrong was not him being a bad person. It was him being a good babysitter.
Well, yeah,
Oh my gosh.
well said.
That's perfect.
All right, we're gonna move on.
Yeah,
Moiraine. Moiraine.
Ooh.
S.
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 My gut says S, and I'm trying to justify it in my head.
So
A.
yeah, that's the gut because she's S, but I actually don't think she's an A.
No,
I
don't think she's S character. I think she's
I don't
A.
think when I try and think about it through, I don't think she is, but my gut wants to put her S.
My gut, I think Jenny and I are on the same page with it. It's like she should be an S, but why?
Why is she an S? Like that's the question that I have. Now, she's a very interesting take on the wise wizard trope.
Mhm.
She's definitely a different take on it. But at the same token, she doesn't really have any independent motivations apart from the quest, right? She doesn't really show any character development other than pretending to serve Rand.
Yeah, the show has actually given her more depth in my mind than the books did. Like the show showing like that, you know, this is something that has torn her away from her life, this quest. Like she had other goals. Like the show, yeah, I've said this in videos of mine. The show is going to make me read the books differently because the show has given me seeing things from her perspective is something I never thought of, because you're right. She's like her internal motivations aren't really.
The only way you can get an arc from Moiraine is by reading Newspring, because she is very green. She is very immature, right? And you can definitely see her being pushed around by Cadsuane, that I would find it harder to believe that she would be pushed around by Cadsuane later on, right? I feel like she had grown. That being said, it's hard for me. I think the best part of Moraine's story, in my opinion, is her death and the events surrounding it. Like when she knew it was coming and yet did it anyway, right? Like and the letter, I think that was a cool touch. But outside of those things and being attached to her as the wise wizard, she's actually not even that good at that. Like she's a horrible communicator. She chooses to not share things that would have easily saved problems if she had shared them. Like it's
Marina's the one who came before.
Yeah.
She thought that she was going to be the main character, and then she wasn't. And it took her far too long to come to terms with that. And by the time that she did, it was too late for her to be as effective as she could have been. But that said, all of that stuff, the way it was written was really well. For where we get her, what we get from Moiraine is wonderful. But there's just, I don't know, for the character that she is, and then what we get after she like comes back to life, I just think is totally worthless. So A character.
Yeah.
Agreed completely. So okay, I need to pick let's do that I think will surprise people with my answer. Let's do Moghedien.
I've been trying to, for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason to rank my own personal take on the Forsaken, my favorite Forsaken, and I have a feeling she tends to come out on top, and I don't know if that's entirely because she's mainly Nynaeve's foil or not, but
or Nynaeve is her foil,
or Nynaeve's her foil. Like, I don't know. I find her interesting. I don't know if I could say S though. I might.
Yeah, I think. I mean, so I'm a Moghedien fan. She's one of my top Forsaken. And I think she's an A tier for sure.
Moghedien is the living embodiment of fucking, Chumbawamba. Like, man, she gets knocked down, but she gets up again. She's A tier.
She like survives. She of all of the Forsaken.
She's
in the
a
best.
survivor.
She's in the best stance by the end of the last battle. Like
she's very believable as well. Like it's I like she has kind of an arc in a small way. Like she is a survivor. If she can get that IDOM off, man. She's coming back.
she's gonna mess some stuff up.
I think she can get the IDOM off pretty easily.
I think she can get it off. I think she can manipulate. I think she'll be able to manipulate whoever her soul dom is. I can speak.
I don't even think it will be hard. I don't even think it's hard. Like I've thought it through.
She's very good at like pulling back, hiding her true self, her true intentions, building trust with her captors,
they don't know
and then
who they've caught.
escaping, and then escaping.
But like they don't know who they've caught. Like they have no idea, so they won't be looking for it. She's literally going to be a spider.
Like, I put her ahead of Moiraine.
She doesn't have ego. She's got an addiction.
Yeah.
She is willing. Like she just whatever it is that motivates her to do her thing is all about the game for her. You know, she doesn't care what she has to do. Like she's just like that's why like she hangs out in the chat. She just wants the game to keep going, man. She's like she's like a dumb Moriarty.
All right, we're moving on to another one here because we're way over time and we don't have any other characters done.
Did you expect anything else?
No.
See,
Demandred. See.
Demandred.
Let's just go off gut feelings from
and
here.
He is absolutely a bottom. The whole here's what happened. Barrett and Luce Theron fucked from like a scenario of like somebody wins at sex. Barrett lost, and Demandred was born.
All right, good. I like that answer. He's a C.
Sure.
I like that. I want to get one more really amazing, great character here. Rendall.
S.
Rendall.
S. S tier. S tier. She's my favorite.
We don't have enough of her to be an S tier character.
Yeah.
We do. I think we do.
I'd say I don't know if I'd put her above Moghedien because I feel like I know Moghedien more.
I do put
she's
her
above Moghedien, but she's not above Moghedien. I think she's below Moghedien, but she's still an A tier character.
I agree.
Terrifying Forsaken.
We can't put her as an S tier. I don't think.
Not enough screen time.
Yeah.
My heart says S, but I'll accept A.
My heart. Oh no, she's got you. Your heart. She is compelled.
I will neither confirm nor deny your assumptions.
Okay. Moridin / Ashana.
Oh, another one of my favorite ones.
I love him, but there's just so little a B.
Yeah. My headcanon interpretation of him is S, but yeah, book maybe high B, low A.
I'll never get him in S with this crowd, so I'm at least going to shoot A.
I can't even find him as a character in here.
I made a whole video on him if you want to go see why.
High B character. Are you looking for Moridin? Is he the one with the pipe?
I don't know where he is.
Where did you put him? Hold on. These pictures are so small.
Yes, that's him.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look at me. Okay. I know my fan art.
S tier, yes.
I don't think he's an S tier. I think he's an A tier.
A tier.
I think I'd put him a little ahead of Moghedien, but a little behind Grendel.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
I accept this ranking.
I want to do another one that I think is an overrated character, but I guess I tipped my hand on this.
Is it Logain?
I tipped my hand. I love this character.
Is it Avienda?
No. I just don't think he should get as much praise as he does. Thom. I love Thom, but I don't. Some people are like, "Oh, S." Why?
What? I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah. High B.
Wait, is it Thom?
Yeah,
what are we doing next?
Oh,
Thom. Sorry.
Tom's a B.
Tom's a B, I think.
Tom's a B.
Low A.
I put him at a low A. I think he's better than Lan.
I think Thom is better than Lan. Thom has got his motivations make sense to me, you know, like his whole all the mysterious his background is so cool. Like that's such a great he's got a great story like as a character, and like him he just kind of goes along for the ride at some point, you know, which I think is a little bit weird, especially like considering how resentful he was, but I enjoy him. I like Thom.
All right, we're going to do one more character and then we're going to call it a wrap.
Okay.
Let's do
Logan.
it.
And this one, I wonder. Actually, I have a feeling where this one's going to go. No, I don't want to do Logain because he's clearly
No,
overrated.
fine. You are not a gentleman nor a scholar.
Verin.
Ooh.
Verin?
Yes. But she's like a subtle. She's
no,
a subtle.
hold on.
She's
Hold
a subtle
on.
S.
If we did some of these other characters in A based off screen time, then she doesn't make that cut.
I can't because
I disagree with that. She's in almost all of book 2.
Yeah,
That's true.
She's got a lot of screen time.
her screen time though, I feel like it's under the surface. Like it's she's because of who she is, she can't be like it.
But
they wrote her that
it's
way
just
on
that's like
purpose,
wildly inconsistent with some of these other characters we put in A though. Like she has similar screen time to some of these folks down in A.
The difference to me is Verin, the nuance with which Verin is written.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Is really well done. Like she's basically Dolores Umbridge, but not horrible.
Mhm.
Like in the sense that it's very subtle. Like I think she's amazingly written. I love her arc. I think that the fact that you can tell she's Black Aja in The Great Hunt when you meet her, and there are there are breadcrumbs all the way back.
Yeah.
The long con on Verin is one of the best
so good
things that I have ever read.
Ever.
And
like ever.
I feel like based on the merits of that alone, she deserves to be an S tier character.
Yep,
Yeah.
agree. And it appears that the crowd agrees as well. So I want to do one more thing. We will not be having a new episode this week of Tarvalin After Dark. We have a compilation coming out. We'll explain why in a little bit. But in honor of that episode coming out, I think it's time for a little repeat of last week for our commercial. Just because I think it's a fun one. So here we go.
It's time for your accepted test. Get those clothes off and get your boobies out. Wouldn't find her on a Seafolk raker? Get your boobies out. Want to be a wise one? Get in the sweat tent and whip those boobies out. Time to raise a new Amerlin seat and need to make sure everyone present is a woman. Time to get those boobies out. Are you tired of having to whip your ample boobies out to prove you're a woman? Is it a bit insulting that the only way to prove that you can channel Saidar is by taking your clothes off and showing that you have 2 sacks of flesh hanging from your chest? Extremely small-chested Aes Sedai, and everyone keeps saying you aren't enough of a woman? Enough. Introducing Channeling Saidar. Yeah, I know it's not new, but for some reason until now, we never used the fact that you can channel Saidar to show you can channel. Instead, we've relied on boobies for too long. Here's how it works. When someone wants to know if you can channel Saidar to make sure you can do something important like vote for the Amerlin, instead of taking your clothes off and letting your boobies out, you can just channel Saidar, which is something only someone who can channel Saidar can do. I know, crazy, right? The next time someone wants to see your boobies for proof you can channel, tell them to fuck off, and then use the one power to balefire them. Your boobies are not anyone else's business. Boobies.
It's so true. Sorry, it drives me crazy every single time. They don't even need to channel; they can feel it in each other. Sorry, rant.
Boobies.
Boobs.
Boobies.
Boobies.
Just whip your boobies out. That's I mean, hey.
I'm just saying that test would on Halima.
No,
right?
I just
it would not have worked on Halima.
The preview a video that's coming out on my channel where Pez says flop a titty when we talked about that ceremony.
What?
I love it.
Talking about that ceremony, Pez just popped out the phrase, you can flop a titty. Yep, that's a preview.
Oh,
there
boy.
you go.
I love it.
I think I need that to be like your Twitter advertisement. Just cut that one part, put it on Twitter. There you go.
I don't have it on here, but like in one of our first episodes ever, just in the note we were talking about Loial earlier, we had a little segment that we did, which was like a divorce court with Loial and his wife. And Loial had ED. Just a whole discussion. That was a great. I don't have it on here, but yeah. Anyway,
the biggest stick in the Wheel of Time, and it doesn't work.
I don't want to think about Loial's stick.
Well, you know what? Look, there is one other way. If you don't have access. If Loial, well, let's just we'll put this here.
Hey, Tarvalin residents. Are you and your special someone struggling in the bedroom? Is the fire gone? Do you need some adventure to reignite your love life? Nothing will set your groins ablaze more than a visit to Erotica Sedai's Pleasure Palace. Erotica Sedai's Pleasure Palace offers the finest and most luxurious intimacy-themed ter'angreal. How can Erotica Sedai help? Well, I'm sure you've heard of a red rod ter'angreal. Well, the Pleasure Palace carries 3 sizes: standard, Aiel, and of course, for you adventurous ones, Ogier. Hey guys, embarrassed that your bits and pieces are a bit too small? Well, you need Erotica Sedai's specialized mirror of Miss ter'angreal. It will have you looking like the Tower of Genji. While we're on the subject, guys, you ever wonder if she's faking it or not? Well, Erotica Sedai has this patented Keeper of the Chronicles figurine ter'angreal. When she hits her climax, the ter'angreal will play trumpets and announce, "She comes, your Amerlin seed," telling your special lady that she's the most important woman in the world. And of course, letting you know that you did your job. And I'm sure you've heard of Dreamweave ter'angreal rings. Well, the Pleasure Palace has ring ter'angreals that will help you stay in the mood all night. And for a limited time, Erotica Sedai is offering a once-in-a-lifetime discount. If you book your session here in the next week, you and your significant other can get your very own specialized fantasy dream shard session for 50% off. Erotica will use her dreaming skills and create the fantasy of your dreams. You want to watch him with a Trolloc? Anything is possible. So come on down to Erotica Sedai's Pleasure Palace. You can find us right next door to the Thirsty Tinker Inn in the Tarvalin Red Light District near North Harbor. Once you come see us, you'll never have a problem coming again.
She comes gets me every single time.
We'll play trumpets.
Anyways, okay. Well, thank you all for joining. We got through at least 15 of the characters.
Several
15 of the
characters.
2,900 characters from the book we got through tonight. So thank you all for coming. We will be back next week on this very channel at this very time. Probably not with these 3, but for the next Darkfriend Social. Tarvalin After Dark comes out every Tuesday morning. I had a video come out yesterday about Cadsuane if you want to watch that. And then also, if you would like to hang out and chat some more, we will be in Discord right after this is over. So hop in the Discord server, and you can do that by clicking the link in the description of the video. We'll chat for a bit. Thank you all for coming. Thanks you to my guests, and we will see you next time.
Bye, Cat.
Bye.